Good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, folks, and that means it is House Tours Day. Today is Dominion's turn, so we are on Dominion's side. I'm on my um, goofy alt melancholy, and we have a few homes for you today. The pickings are becoming slim. So apologies on that. Normally I try to tour, up to 5 homes if I can squeeze them in, depending on how long it takes to get through them. But as we tour folks' places and people either move on to other things or run out of ideas or just run out of alts or whatever, it becomes tougher and tougher to find new and interesting places. That is less the problem on Exile side as it is Dominion side for EU. I don't know if it's the same with NA, but on EU definitely we have way more visible homes on Exile side than we do Dominion. So it may be that in the coming weeks we just end up doing kind of a mixed bag. If I happen to find some Dominion homes that are ready for touring and that we haven't toured in the past, then we will include those, but it may just be a series of lots of exile homes from here on. I really don't know. It just depends. Like I said, my lists for both sides are pretty long. But a lot of them are works in progress. Most of the time a builder prefers you to tour their house once it's done, obviously. Sometimes I kind of sneak in early. If I'm not really in close contact with them, I just kind of go, well, I've waited long enough, I want to go see it anyway. But so I do my best to wait, but sometimes, like one of the houses we're going to visit today, they just sit there for like months with no changes. So since I think even an incomplete home can be inspiring to those looking for certain kinds of ideas, those do come into my tours once in a while, but generally speaking, I try to wait. So a lot of my list is made up of homes that's like, I want to tour this one, but it's not finished or incomplete, or by chance they were public and then they went private, and I'm kind of waiting for them to go public again. So yeah. But as far as listing, the queue for actual ready homes that we haven't toured yet or have been reworked or that are actually ready, those lists are getting shorter and shorter. So hopefully we will, with the Steam release, as people are getting up into the level and acquiring plat or renown or reputation and stuff, hopefully that will change sooner than later as those people become, access to the housing and they start getting into it and kind of playing around. Maybe we'll see more and more homes, but just kind of preparing you guys for the eventuality that I may run out of places to tour, especially on Dominion side. So anyway, a few announcements before we begin. And good morning to everybody. Bones, Tiki, Boy, anyone else that happens to be lurking around. Oh, yes, thank you, Tiki. Let me do that tweet real quick. Appreciate the reminder. You guys are so good to me. Okay, so a couple of announcements. First, we do have maintenance today. It is set for 4 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. CEST. Now, anything that I've been posting, like a lot of my, like the hours that I stream and all that, it still says CET, but just understand that it's, presumably CEST. Because I hate to have to go through and change all of that. But I keep saying CET, but I really mean CEST because apparently we're in the summer phase of things, and that kind of works it up a little bit. And I get confused with time zones anyway, so just assume that I mean summertime. But yeah, it starts at 1 p.m. CEST, and it's supposed to last for an hour. Now that's for the game itself. There is also going to be site and forum maintenance that will be gone starting around the same time, but it's going to last 5+ hours. So you won't be able to log into the forums or to the website for like account management and all that kind of stuff. So be aware of that. You should still be able to get into the game after the 1 hour, but past that, for the better part of the afternoon, evening, you won't have access to the forums. So just keep that in mind. Also, today is the 22nd, which means that it marks the first day of week 4 of the Starfall event. Now, I know maybe it doesn't directly pertain to housing, but there are housing items available through the event, so I want to promote it. This week's challenge is, I believe it's complete 2 dungeons. And in addition to that, we also have the Double Renown weekend coming. That will run from the 24th to the 27th. So for those of you that are watching and want to join me, Saturday at 8 p.m. CEST time, I will be making myself available, much like last week with the PvP event that we did. I'm going to be doing the same thing for the dungeons to help people, not only myself, but fellow guildmates and fellow housers complete their Starfall challenge for this week. So I'm going to be making myself available for dungeon groups. If we can't happen to get a full dungeon group together, I know for dungeons usually you actually have to have, you know, a tank, a healer, and DPS. If we don't happen to have that good mix, I will be available for running expeditions in between the times that we can actually get a group together. I've already posted this on my guild forum, so hopefully some of them will be available, and that will make it easier to at least form hopefully one group of 5 that can go in. But I will be trying to help coordinate between the 2 groups. You know, those of you that are in the housing group, and then those of you in my guild group, I'll try and coordinate between the 2 to get a group formed, even if that doesn't include myself. But I will be available for expeditions. Expeditions is easier because it scales. You can go by yourself or up to 5 people. So if we only have 3 people show up, then, you know, we can do expeditions. That at least gets you some double renown through that. It won't be helping you to complete your dungeon challenge, but maybe later in the evening some folks will show up. But I will be there till 8 p.m. CEST, till whenever, till I get sick of it, until I pass out, whatever it is. No biggie. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you that are interested, be free to give me a poke in game on Saturday. We will be trying to complete that up. I'll probably even drag my husband along, get him in there. I don't even know what he plays, to be honest. I think it's just I think it's just DPS, but and that's what I play. So if you have any kind of healer alts or something, or tankers, be sure and drag them in as well. And it's not just open to those of you that are watching. If you have some friends that also want to participate, be free to bring them along as well. I'm saying the same thing to my guildmates if they have any non-guildies that they want to join in. Because I know folks make ties and buddies outside of their usual circles of socializing, so be free to bring them in. More the merrier. So, so yeah, that's this Saturday. Yeah, I think that's it. 22nd. Yeah, the kind of a weird thing because today's also my wedding anniversary. We've been married for 17 years. Can you imagine? I saw Annie's tweet from yesterday saying that they've been married 5, and I was like, wow, that seems like a drop in the bucket compared. But yeah, today's 17 years married. It's just unreal. Well, it's unreal too to think how old my son is, but and of course this week is finals week, so our hours have been kind of scatty. And yesterday I didn't stream. Had an incredible headache. The night before, my husband, he was sick, so I didn't get good sleep and stuff that night, and that just made yesterday worse. And so this week has been just kind of really wonky altogether. But like, hopefully, as the week winds down, things will be a little bit calmer, and I won't be such in a frenzy, because I guess I've been stressing about my son's finals, because it's important that he does well, and of course he's beyond the age where you can like hold the hand and everything. He's like does his thing, and you just have to rely on him having the gumption to do what he needs to do. But it gnaws on me about him doing well, and because that means good things for him if he does good. And of course you always feel like it's a reflection of your parenting if they don't do as well as you'd hope or that you would expect. Because he's definitely not me as far as enjoying school. He's one of those that really dreads it. He has that long face of sadness and stuff when he goes. For me, I loved school. I was like there an hour early just so I could be there, and loved reading and learning and everything. And he's completely opposite, so it's hard for me to relate, I guess. I mean, I can relate to certain things that he's going through, but for that, I just don't get that, because I myself found it very enjoyable. But you have to deal with it, and of course he is his own person, and I just have to kind of deal with whatever it comes. So yeah, I'm feeling much better today, and thank you guys for the congrats. Um, and so hopefully that continues. Do plan on enjoying myself this evening with a little bit of booze. So hopefully I will beer myself up or whatever, and sleep really good, and that would be awesome. Usually my routine is I go through several days, or actually probably like a week or so, of not very good sleep, and then my body just says, screw it, you're gonna zonk out, you're gonna be dead to the world for a couple of days, and then my body recoups, and then the cycle starts all over again. I don't know if it has to do with age or just being a gal or what, but yeah. Digibones, well, that's my son. He's just not into the school stuff, and he's really anxious to be done with it. And for me, I wanted to enjoy it while it lasted, because I knew what was coming after that. Because after school comes, work and stuff, or more school, depending on what you're going to do. Um, we're not much into the board games, boy. I've tried. I kind of can get them to do it like around the Christmas holiday. I kind of force them into doing board games, because usually the in-laws come over uh, earlier in the day, and then we have like the whole afternoon, evening to kind of have to entertain ourselves. And we don't do the movie things because the father-in-law is really hard of hearing, and it usually deafens everybody if we have the TV up loud enough for him, because he doesn't have his little special headset. Um, but the board games tend to be okay. Yeah, my son had the bullying problem really in the beginning, but as he's kind of filled out, he looks kind of like a football player. He's kind of stocky and everything. He's not like fat or whatever. He looks intimidating. He hasn't had the problem for years now, so. Okay, so housing. Let's get off of the subject of family and stuff. Who cares about that? Housing. We are here on, I believe it's Sausages MD. Interesting name for a character. It's called Trees and Triage. And as far as I could tell, there is no bunker house access. At least I couldn't find any. If I'm wrong about that, my apologies. But as far as I could find, there's no actual bunker house. You'll see what I mean as we kind of roam around here. But it's like, I think it's buried, if it's even a bunker house. It might just be the scrap yard or whatever under one of these giant mossy trees. The reason I like this one, it's kind of a mishmash. It's like, it reminds me of Run, where they have this big foresty, lush um, area with all these trees and vines and stuff, and they've just kind of built in uh, like a camp around it. It's kind of a camp slash village town kind of thing. There's lots of different things going on. So you have like, here's the little medical area, and it's just set up on these platforms and just kind of out in the middle. And here you have the platform where they have the landing pad for the vehicle, the transports, or whatever you want to call it. But it's very reminiscent of, like, you'd expect some quest givers standing here, maybe even your little bulletin board with the group quest on it or something. It's very reminiscent of that, how they've set it up with all of these like little bags and the little tents and tables and things. It just looks like that's what they tried to do. And I know a lot of people try to build their plots. Unlike mine kind of stand out like sore thumbs. I don't use any of the architecture of the game per se. I just kind of throw stuff together. But a lot of people like to try and make it look as if their plot is just like a chunk of the game world that's come up and they've claimed it as their own. And this is a real good example of it. So here you have a little crash ship, and they haven't had the little flare for those that have been stranded looking for some help. Of course, it appears to be an exile transporter that crashed, so they're getting ready to be engaged by some Dominion folk. But I like how they even got like little parts out here that from the broken ship. It's just kind of strung, and of course being able to use the fire, which I have yet to use in anything. See. For the platform here that they use for the ship, it looks to be mostly the reinforced barriers. I don't know which one. I assume it's one of the two. I think there's two different versions, like a shorter, fatter one, and then one that's a little bit taller and thinner, I guess, even though it's kind of bulky itself. And then some hover park pieces for like the ramps and such. And the top, you can see they use like the short ones. As you can see, the trim around it that looks like hoverboards. There's a little generator, a little gun part. I like little touches like this where they've got like the luggage. Just very reminiscent of like a little questing area. I'm probably going at this backwards, but just kind of checking out the stuff that's down below. Yeah, I think I was supposed to go up on the walkway here. But see, like here's another one, and this one's, their little chopper. I think that's more like either for personnel or for luggage, and this is more like for those that are scouting. But again, they've got the little tables with the little tents and things. And I like this here. They've made this little, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It reminds me of the thing like from, what's it called? This Avatar? No, I don't remember the name of it. But it's got like a little seat and the wheelies, and then the arms that you use. And they've got like engine parts for the little jetpack or something. It's like a Chewa chair and the tech arms and like a tank in the back. So they go around. Maybe it's like from World of Warcraft where they have little the tree trimmers and stuff, where they cut down the trees with those machineries or something. I have no idea. But I thought that was kind of nifty. And then, of course, because it's kind of them intruding on territory that's already there, we have this little skeets camp where apparently their prisoners have been escaped, but they've got like their little tools ready to chop them up and put them in the soup bowl. Yeah, me too, boy. My son actually got us into that because every now and then you might see some of my t-shirts that are Loot Crate. Of course, I wear my granny sweater all the time, so you might not see it as clear. But he started us up on that, I don't know, several months ago. I've been seeing all the Loot Crate for your pets and the gaming crate and all the other stuff, but we just do the regular one. In fact, we have our next one that should be on the way. But usually what happens is they'll say it's on the way and it should arrive at this week, and ours comes like 2 or 3 weeks later. I don't know why ours is so delayed, but it is. I don't think this comes with does that come with a fire in it like that? Or is that something they put in there? I want to say it's something they've added, like the Falcon torch or something inside. They give the Hoogle the eyeballs over here. It's disturbing. Okay, I think I've kind of seen most of the stuff on the ground. Now we're going to take a look at some of the things that are up in the trees. For instance, let's see, how do we get up to this one? It's probably like an obvious little path, but I'm like completely oblivious to it. Where is that? See, they show the little ladder there, and I want to get up into it. It's like a little lookout post. Maybe you're not supposed to actually go up in it. It's like a little lookout thing. It's even got some speakers, so I guess if they find some intruders, they can alert everybody else. Now, if we follow along the path of walkway here, kind of takes you to the different areas. I'm going to try and stay on the lower ends first. Apologies for the lighting. It's dark apparently on the plots, and they have the normal lighting set up. Okay, this one leads to that area that we just went to. Let's go backtrack. Notice they do have a lot of their fab kits already, placed. This is a good build for if you have a variety of like they've got the crafting station, they've got a couple of other ones. The bank is over here, the vendor. This kind of build is a lot easier to blend those in because you're not having to worry about necessarily the landscaping or anything. You just can make it look like it's just kind of built in for your purposes without worrying about if it matches the areas around you. Now the only probably part that you would want to think about is like you wouldn't want a snow like an Artera version of a fab kit coming into here. That would probably look out of place. Morning, Bucky. Glad you could join us. It was tempting, Bones, to go for the Firefly one because we are pretty big fans of that. But I don't know. It's one of those things. Now, if I got into it, I've already missed one or two probably. I don't want to start. I can't believe they made a pet one though. Here's a little club area. They've even made the little checkerboard dance floor. Basically, it's just a maintenance platform, which gives you the black, and then they've added in the foreign floors to give you the alternate colors of white. I think that's a really slick. I mean, it works out really nice. It just fits perfectly with the scaling and everything. This would be a great way of setting up a kitchen space if you need it. Just put those together and you have an Insta little kitchen floor, or for like a old-fashioned diner, like a 50s or 60s diner that usually has that checkerboard stuff. Or even for those of you that are still working on games and things, you want some kind of a checkerboard. This would probably be really easy to shrink down or enlarge based on whatever you want. But they're using it as a little dance floor, so they've got some different spotlights and such. I don't have my sound on at the moment. It's turned down really low, so I don't know if they're, I assume they're really hooping and hollering. But so you have this little club bar little place for your peoples to come and relax. Same way here, another little rest area. This one I'm not sure what it's meant for, like a little meeting room, a special VIP drinking space. You know, it looks like you get your own personal bartender or something. I don't know what this is for. But all of the boardwalks and stuff is all just decking pieces with a little bit of the rope bridges thrown in here and there, from what I can tell. Go over here. I think this is just another entrance up. Yeah. So there's lots of little, I mean, they could have changed it how they've done it, you know, the way they organized it, but I like how there's a lot of ways of getting to the different areas, and how it's all kind of interlaced. So here, this is a special pool that they built. You can see it's kind of like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like it's supplied by the bank thing, but that's the bank fab kit just below it. But basically it's just, from what I can tell, hover part pieces for the bowl of it, and then they've just patched it in with decking pieces. They're using a hugel as the water source where it's crying out the water. And of course the winding river's all patched in to kind of make it look like a little bit of a pool. I like how they're using the NPC here to make it look like he's just kind of chillaxing in the water. Notice the little lounge chairs. Those two are just made from decking pieces. A simple construction. It's a short and a long piece for the seat itself, and then just 4 pillars, 2 along the bottom and 2 for the support of the backing of the chair. Really nice, simple. Again, we are coming into the summer months, so I expect we'll be seeing a lot of summer beach type builds, more than we already have, especially with the prospect of some of the new beach decor on the horizon, with like the beach balls and the beach towels and things like that, the little Barbie that they've got coming for the outdoor grilling and stuff. So I presume there's going to be a lot of probably like deserted islands, well, not deserted, but little islands, paradises and beach parties and things like that coming. So This is while this isn't beach related, these kind of little chair ideas will probably spur some interesting results for those looking for that type of decor um, ideas for their actual beach house and such. Just interesting looking at some of the things they use as extra decoration. So again, here we have another path. You've got that one coming up, this one coming up, that one over there. Let's go back over this way. I think we go across this time and down. Another little lounge area, and then here we have a kind of a, I guess this is like the war room. This is where they're strategizing, planning out maybe to expand into the forest a little further, just tracking enemy movements, who knows. Oh, are you, Maddie? I figured there's going to be a lot of people that are doing that. I, I don't know if I'm going to do a major theme. I might do a mini plot again. I just don't have any specific ideas that come to mind. I already did a pool thing before, and I'm not really inclined to do that again. I actually have it saved somewhere, but I'm just not sure I want to dig that out. But it had, I did like the little pina colada drinks and the poolside bar and things like that. Here's a little, I want to call it like a clubhouse. That's what it reminds me of, but it might just be, a place for folks to gather. They got a little bit of a grill and some books and things, a fireplace, even a little meeting spot here. But I just like the different constructions, the way they do the buildings. Again, it's mostly just decking pieces, but then they, top it with some like chua roofs, the walls, I should say floors for the roofing. Um, it just shows, again, I continue to see people say, oh, you have to have hundreds of plat and all the access to the awesome decor to be able to come up with an interesting plot. And this is just an example of where that's really not the case. Most everything we've been seeing here is accessible straight from the vendor. In fact, a lot of the builds that I put together, I kind of wouldn't say force myself, but I make a point to stick to the housing vendor for the majority of things that I put together because I want to show new builders that they don't have to have all of that top-notch stuff to make something fun and interesting. Here's another little lookout that we missed earlier. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how do I get up there. Did I miss? I think it's like this. Another little lookout. They just got a lot of these little, it's like a tree village or something. I go around this way, trying to see if there's anything else. Notice mostly they're using the mangroves and some of the celestial sky growths. I think it's called cerulean sky growth. For a lot of the extra, there's a few of the other, the bulby trees and things like that one there coming out. But a lot of the mossy ones, this mossy tree, which I usually use on like haunted plots for some reason. That's why I say I couldn't find an actual bunker house or anything because I believe it's under here. But I couldn't see any evidence of like scraps from the construction site, so I assume it's some kind of a bunker house or something under there. Again, managed to squeeze in several of the fab kits. I always like looking at that because as someone that doesn't really use them very much, it's interesting to see how people kind of work around them. Some really do a fantastic job of blending them in, and others just find ways to make them look like they belong anyway. Okay, I think that's it for this one. Pretty sure. I hope so. If not, my apologies. Again, you know, it's mostly decking pieces, but you'll see that they have a lot of use of the pillars to give the idea that there's supports for those that's lifted up if they're not supported by the trees and stuff themselves. And that's another thing. They've really kind of kept this organic looking as far as they didn't force the paths. They followed along the trees and such that they had already put out. So I assume the trees were put in first and then they built this around to kind of match the position of the trees, the spacing, the curving, and everything. So it's a really fun way of doing it. Hey, Maddie. Didn't say hi the first time. I just answered your responded to your post there, your message. Okay, so the next one is Sim Winter's plot. And this is the one that I've been kind of watching for quite a long while, and I really haven't seen any progress on it. And I don't want to just let it go by the wayside and kind of forget about it. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and tour it. Now, the covering for this one is actually the upside down massive umbrella tree. You can tell that because it's kind of got like a dirt, I think. It might be the winter, the snowy hill. Really kind of hard to tell. Again, it's because of the lighting. But this one is called the Swamp. And so it's basically a water plot with like island bits thrown in. So you can see they've taken great pains at trying to fill up the ground space with lots and lots of water. Pardon me. And of course, there's rope bridges connecting all the different parts. You have some bits up above. You have this main center area, and then you have some bits along the edges. And it looks to be mostly the winding rivers for the water. And yes, if you go out to the edges, you'll see that it just kind of goes off to nothing. There's no way, at least not that this person has found, to cleverly hide all of the edges. I think the idea is that they will probably eventually fill in a lot of green plants and things to kind of block off your view from that rough edge, hence it being the swamp. But here we have a nice little waterfall, and it just kind of splits off, and that's what's feeding this whole water area here. Notice it looks to be a massive tree there for the center, and then this little building is constructed right around the base of it. Hey Faye, good morning. Glad you could join us. Just curious. Never noticed that that thing had like little eggy things on it. And so here we have a little bit of a cave. They even have like a little book that's just kind of floating here. It looks like an abandoned kind of like an altar of some sort, because that looks to be like a table underneath, and the book has floated up, so it's been flooded. Again, mostly the gray stones, lots of overgrowth. Some of this is the willow trees poking through, so that gives it a little bit of extra overhang and such. A cute little idea like that. Again, you can see there's all sorts of stuff. They really started over here with the, I assume that eventually if they ever get back to this whole area will be just full of trees and plants and such to help cover up that edge. This guy, he's been here fishing. I presume that's what he's meant to be doing. Now I don't see any immediate way to get to this little area here, so we're just going to kind of dive off into the water. Again, the only downfall to the actual water decor is it looks great from above, but if you end up falling below it, you know, clearly that kind of ruins the illusion. I don't know what this was going to be. If it's meant to be like some kind of an abandoned ruins of some sort, or I have no idea. I don't know if this is going to be turned into something, you know, this is one of those, I think it's the, I don't remember the name of it, but it's one of the newer pieces. It's kind of got a built-in little ramp and stairway area using the leaves and the roots itself. Oops, I just fell right off of there. Sometimes folks will find fun ways of using that, adding little platforms and things to it. So if you come to the center, you'll see that basically the building itself, I think, is kind of hard to tell in the light, but I think it's a granite version of the walls, and they've just made a huge circle out of it and then topped it with some hover park pieces. It kind of turns into a little bit of a hill when you put them all together in the middle. Added some overgrowth, of course, and then for whoops, I get stuck in the door there. And you can see the trees in the center, and then they've broken it up into these different rooms. Now, all of the rooms aren't actually furnished. Some are, some aren't. Because as I said, this is an incomplete plot, but as far as I can tell, there's been like no activity on it for quite a long while. So, but I think this is a fun idea for someone that wants to come up with this would be a good community plot if you want to say, hey, you're welcome to decorate this room and claim it as your own for RP's sake, for a guild. This would be a great guild hall of some kind, allowing maybe the officers to decorate certain areas up, or turn one of these big rooms into like a bunker for all your general members. Have one as a guild meeting hall. But as you'll see in this one, they've actually added a few windows and turned them into like little apartments. So you have like the dining table here, the living room and such down here, and then upstairs they've added in like a bedroom type of area. But I could easily see this transformed into something different than just a personal residence type of thing, like apartments or whatever. Here, again, like a living room, dining, and then upstairs is the bedroom. This could be like a main marketplace. Have this as the main markets and divvied up into different little types of shops. There's lots of ways you could go with it. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show it. I mean, even the base here is hover park pieces for those curious. But again, even with incomplete plots, there's a lot of things you can glean from them, not only in how they're working to approach problems like the edges, covering up the edges by just throwing in a lot of plants and trees and things, but also things like connectivity. I mean, they've got several branches coming out to the center place to make it where no matter where you are on the plot, you have access to that particular location. Up here in the trees, again, they kind of match the same kind of structure. It's got that little domey hat-looking topper, and then the walls. But these are more like, this to me would be more like the little individual player homes. But again, it could be shops. Like, you know, it could be special little honeymoon bungalows of some sort, all sorts of things. But they each have their little space. Again, same, you know, granox, some of them have doors, some of them don't. And they're just kind of added in. And then this one's kind of off by the wayside, a pair of them here. Yeah, I could easily see these as, again, you could make a village out of it, some sort of a guild grouping. I mean, depending on, you know, your theme of your guild, a build like this would probably work really well. I mean, these could easily be transformed into like little Orin huts, adding some of the Orin windows and decorations and things, extra greenery and such. They look like little mushroom houses and stuff. All right, Bones, thanks for joining us. Probably not. We've got one more home after this one, and just depends on how long it takes us to get through that. I like how they even added this little bridge here to kind of go around the tree. Again, it makes it seem more that it's built around the tree rather than damaging it. They're just kind of going with the shape of it. So for those looking for different ideas for, you know, again, like a marketplace, a guild type of plot. I mean, you know, usually when we see guild plots, it's like a big mansion and then they divvy it up. It doesn't have to be a traditional building. You can have this really different style, shapes and stuff that kind of make it a little bit more interesting from the norm. I've seen some guild halls that's just like, it looks like a giant rec center or something, and they have it divvied up. I don't know if this actually has anything. I assume that the bunker house or whatever it is down inside here somewhere. I didn't notice any way of accessing it though, so I'm not sure if it's actually accessible. But I presume it's probably empty. If not, you know, that would be something for you to discover in other ways. Trying to get up here. Don't fall down in the water. There's not too many ways of getting back up. But yeah, for sure this is the upside down massive umbrella tree. You can see the root there. So yeah, this is just a good plot. It's one of those that you come by and yes, it's not done, but there's a lot of fun ideas that you could probably use in future builds or to play on this similar idea of like an isolated water-bound kind of plot or theme. Maybe you don't want just a structure in the middle. Maybe you want an actual like island type of thing using those new proto insta hills that would be easily achievable by plopping one of those out here and then building atop that if you want to take it that direction. I've seen a few already starting some beach themes using similar approaches, and I think the main trouble is finding a way to cleverly extend the horizon out. For a lot of us, even though these are supposed to be sky plots, we kind of like extending the horizon, the ground surface area with oversized bits to kind of like let it disappear off into the distance, as if we've got like this really huge piece of land to ourselves, almost as if it's not even a sky plot anymore. It's like part of the actual surface area. And for something like this, that's a little more difficult. So coming up with interesting ways to tackle that obstacle or challenge or whatever you want to call it, that would probably be the toughest part for this type of build, I think. But, you know, seeing how they're working on it, that might give you some ideas of your own, that kind of thing, rather than just putting up walls to kind of box it all in and that sort of a deal. Okay, so the last plot for today is one I've been meaning to visit for a while now. In fact, I thought I had visited them earlier in our escapades of housing, but I think it was, they have a lot of alts, and the name probably just sounded familiar to me. So I haven't actually done it. Plus, I believe this one was covered by another person's video tours. So I tend to kind of avoid those because I don't want to feel like I'm saying, well, my video is better than yours or something like that. But since we are kind of short of nice and entertaining builds, I'm willing to do it anyway, even if it's been toured by somebody else before. But some of you may recognize this. This is Inkara Samaris's Legacy of the Elden. It's a really pretty plot. It's a lot of gold and got a lot of exonite bits to it. Has a really nice feel. I like the way they've kind of incorporated. They left the top of the teleporter showing, but they've built around it so that it looks like it's just kind of, you know, was meant to be that way. With all of the stones, looks like the sandstone version of those rocks. Lots of overgrowth, you know, because I think it's meant to be as if it's a part of a jungle type foresty scene. So we're going to walk around the edges here just to see what we see, and then we'll go up into the upper areas later. I want to say, I think these are the ones you get for renown. If that's true, those things are not cheap. I think those are like it might be the deciduous yellow ones that you get from the reputation vendor, but I think some of the other one is like the 25,000 renown from the housing vendor shop. That's just nuts. Let me just walk over here. I don't know what all we're supposed to. I'm sure there's like a right way and a wrong way to go about visiting this place, but you know me, I just kind of meander around. This looks like a little fortified building. Not quite sure what it's supposed to be. Looking for a door. Nope, can't get in here. Maybe on the other side. Let's keep walking. Oh, here we go. Again, I love how people find ways to use those welders. I have yet to use any of mine. The animation is great, but I just don't have the type of builds that require repair guys to be on there. I like how they've got this kind of like double circle going on. Look at this, the little control panel thing. It looks like a series of the magnetized containers with exiled tactical table, a detonator here, the one with the little blinky green bit on the antenna, and then the ergonomous keyboard. And all that's just on top of one of these giant containers. It's pretty nice. See, I've tried coming up with stuff like this, and mine always looks so simplified and dorky. I want to say these are fence posts of some sort. And of course the windows, which thankfully were unbound. They used to be bind on pickup, which was a horror because I always wanted to use them elsewhere, and when you'd craft them, they'd automatically bind to the one that crafted them, but they stopped that for now, which is good. I like the faux door. It's basically just a metal divider with Draken fillers. Looks like a file for the handle. Faux doors for the wind. Wind, not wind. For the wind, for the wind. Yeah, interesting little building. Notice the bookshelf, it has a lot of goodies on it. A lot of people don't notice that. You know, that doesn't come stocked. Those are items that they've actually put in themselves. I like how it's like a built-in soda fountain there into the wall. Trying to see if we could get a shot of how this looks from the outside, but I think I'll have to check it out from the other. I assume these are like Dominion landing pads that are making the roofing here. See if we can see that a little better. Yeah, here you can come up. This is the stairway. Wow. Two little mini ones and then one big one. I don't think there's anything in here, but it's always fun to look. You never know. Sometimes folks will go to that extra little bit, put something in there. Little, what I call an Easter egg for their plot. Again, we'll be going up into the little house there in a bit. We're just kind of exploring down below for now. Now, part of this is actual biome from a fab kit, and the rest is added in by the player, which is always fun to see how well they blend that in. This is that, oops, I just kind of fell right off of it. This is that same thing that was on the other plot with the little stair step stuff going on. Doesn't look like they've added anything that we can actually get to, but probably make for some good, you know, being able to see some of the landscape. If I found a good spot. Usually if I go to a plot and I'm looking to make screenshots and everything, I always climb everything, and because you never know what kind of nice shot you'll see. Like, that's a good shot. It's all that bright. The only thing that's kind of annoying is the honeycomb pattern of the wall there. I know a lot of builders have been asking for them to be able to turn that off. Here's a bit of a, I guess it's like a little memorial shrine kind of thing. Different swords and those oh, what are they called? Symbols of the makers or something. Those are the ones you unlock by completing the Alpha Sanctum, I believe it is. Which reminds me, I still have yet to complete the Vault of Archon. I know, shame on me. I haven't gotten to it yet. Again, I've been kind of waiting for my husband to get through all of his bits with the Jusera storyline so we can kind of do it together, but I may just end up having to do it by myself because he's kind of dragging his bottom. But I've heard great things about it. I've heard a lot of people say it was really awesomely done. Go this way, see if there's anything over here. I like these little pools of water. Now, I'm not sure what it is they're using. I want to say It's layered glass. Yeah, it looks to be layered glass. You can see the different layers right there. Just enough to kind of give it a little bit of a coloring. Obviously, it doesn't move like water. You can't, sink down into it like water, but it looks really pretty. It just reminds me like of the little side pools, like at a beach, that you might find some like little plants and such. Of course, you got the waterfall over here feeding it, coming out there. I think there's a path this way. Yep. Wow, the big guy. I don't want to get too much into the upper areas just yet. Still exploring down below. Here's a good shot. Very bright. Exonite's pretty bright. And it's probably brightened even more by their choice of sky. I don't know which one it is specifically, but it's just makes everything really golden and emphasizes all the gold coloring. So here's another little shrine area. I don't know if it's actually called a shrine or like Elden Shrine or what, but it's like a trio of them. Is it? Well, I'll probably end up doing it solo once and then again to help my husband through it if he gets a little confused, which is very easy to do. I just love the spacing. They added in all these little extra bushes and plants and things, even like the little dead grass patches. Just kind of blends it in. Okay, here we have like, I think this is where they've built in around several of the fab kits. So like here, they've kind of extended, I think on the other side is the meditation fab kit. But on this side, they've built it in as if it's a little, it's very reminiscent of like a Japanese garden to me. Here you have like the little, almost like a little bonsai trees and plants with a little sitting space. Basically, these are just the portable planters with shrunken down trees and decking pieces for most of the flooring, trimmed in the granite style pillars, and then layered glass for this little pond here. And notice they even put a little drain. You basically see the ground choice that they have, which looks to be the Celestion version. And they've still got the clutter showing, so that's why you'll see some of these bits poking up through the flooring. But they've added in other things, like that's a little moss bush, and that's a couple of ferns, and things to kind of make the pond a little more lively looking. And then here, just strange little grouping of grass weeds and stuff. The little walkway cover here is just the tiki roofs. And they've filled it in with pillars and the, looks like dragon walls and the metal dividers to kind of, again, it gives that kind of Asian look to it. So that's one area. And then I think this is the, yeah, like the meditation or it's the rock garden fab kits, one of the two. I get the two mixed up. Here we have, this could easily be turned into like a tea house, kind of something like I did with mine, but you know, using different materials. They've just turned it into kind of like a little shrine for the sword. But you could easily add some mats, like a mini dojo if you wanted. That would work okay. The main thing about the tiki roofs is you do have to kind of contend with those poles. You either learn to work with them or just ignore that they're intruding there as part of the building itself. And if you open this door, that leads you back out this way. Go on the other side. So it's a really nice little setup they have here. And again, this actually is a fab kit, but they've built around it. They've added in the decking pieces and added in the granite pillars and some of the plants. I mean, this one actually mirrors what you see on the other side. And then, of course, you have the little back entrance that again leads you to the outside. We could have come in from this direction. Again, being as someone that doesn't use the fab kits very much, if at all, I always find these ways of incorporating the builds like this around them to be very intriguing, because I never would have thought to do that. Especially because in the beginning we couldn't really modify the fab kits. They had all those barriers and stuff, and they only just I don't want to say recently because it's been a while, but they eventually removed most of the barriers except for some of the challenge ones. And so folks have really been super clever in how they incorporate those fab kits into their thing. I mean, this is another fab kit. This is I think it's not the hot springs, but the other one, the little pond, meditation pond or whatever. It's got the little fish NPCs in there. And they've built this little, like a little deck for someone that wants to go swimming in it. They've got the little ladder there, little changing room for those that want to. It just amazes me, you know, how obviously perfect that works, but you know, most of us would probably like, huh? You know, I would have never thought of that. I mean, they're using the Galeris, I think it's the Galeris walls for most of the framing around them. And here they've got 3 fab kits and they've made them all work together. I love that. I think that's awesomely done. Mostly because I never would have thought to do it myself that way, but also because it is cleverly put together. Now this part, as you'll see, is easily accessed from the entrance if you just knock down these little barrier walls. The entrance is right over there, so you see the mailbox that tells you that there's a residence here, and you can come in, and this is the main little house down here. It's a Chua building, so you come in and like I guess it's like a laboratory kind of thing. But I love all the little details here, like this little area here. Look at all the different bits. You've got like the curved wires, the hanging wires, but there's also little hidden sparking wires to make it look like there's some glitchy connections. You've got the animation of not only the magnetized containers, but also those, I want to say it's the columns. It's one of those Elden columns, the fierce one, the fiercely glowing one, or one of the others. There's like several different columns that has that blue stuff. I think this is the flat one, not the round one. It has all that little animation going on. I really like that part. And then this is think it's a combination of a couple things, but I'm for sure it's I believe it's the one, the wall panel that is like on a bracket, and they've just enlarged it really big and sunk the bracket into the wall and using it as a see-through doorway there, where there's no collision. So here's a nice little cabinet. I don't know if it's meant to be like refrigerated or what, but it's like got security on it. Obelisk Pell. Yeah, that's probably it, Faye. Thanks. I just know it's the flat one. It's like all kind of like chunky bits. But a nice little cabinet. It looks to be, I want to say it looks like the tops of the display cases, or top of a display case. It's hard to say. I don't recognize the trim there. And it looks like all one single piece of glass, which is not really possible with the glass that we have, so I suspect it's like oversized display cases being used, and they've just boxed in what they don't want showing with Draken walls and such. But I can't say for sure. That's what it looks like to me. The handles, of course, being the files. The little bottom cabinet areas is just the metal crates, and then it looks like a big travel poster for parts of it, for the little cabinet bit. Here we have, again, it's the same kind of setup as they had outside, but they've got a few added extra bits. Again, I think it's just oversized detonators for those two on the side. And same way here, they've got like the Chua desk, but then they've got the microscope stuck on there, another little viz panel, couple of biomes. This one's more of a deserty theme, and this one's more of a far side with all the shrooms and stuff. Look at the wind blowing those things. So sad. It looks like the rocks are the stepping stones from Starcom, and then these are all like cactuses and spiny bits. This here, these are some added pipings. I forget what item that's from. I want to say it's the fuel pump that looks like a little gas station thing, but I can't remember for sure. The staircase is just a couple of boarding ramps, and then they've used the metal grate shelves for the little in-between bit to kind of blend it together. This is, I think it's from the, oh, it's that one that looks like a antenna thingy. Can't even think of the name of it. But this is like the little medical room. Lots of different, you know, if you have a lot of medical stuff, it's always good to have a medical room where you can use it all in. My throat's starting to get really dry. Using the same concept for the doorway here, they've got another little holographic panel there. A couple more biomes. These are more like underwater, like aquarium type things. Again, the wind is kind of playing a little bit of havoc. You just have to kind of ignore that. Again, I don't know what in the world that they did to the housing to make the wind kind of go berserko, but it's affecting obviously both interior and exterior, so which is unfortunate. They're just using the Chua tanks on either side to make it look like it's a water supply source, I guess. Down here, those are the cryopods that we don't have access to on Exile's side. These are the ones that sometimes you'll see like city builds or starports or something. They have these oval doorways. It's the back of these that you're seeing make that nice little doorway. Spiral staircase is nice. Again, it's just those shelving again. This flooring is the, I think it's called the digital marauder netting. It always has that hole in the center. And this is obviously where they use a lot of their technophage decor. It's all pink and a set new panel and all the little hollow stations and stuff. Hey Theo, glad you could join us. No problems here. Obviously, I'm not having any trouble. I'm in game right now, so um, not really heard anybody else having major issues. Although it's not to say that nobody is. Probably the best place to check is the forums in the new player sections. There's a few people that have been having some issues. I really don't know what might be causing them. But you might find some threads that are discussing similar issues and some of the resolutions that they found. Notice the centerpiece for the staircase is just, I guess it's either cylinders or tubes topped with a little dome piece to finish it off. They're using Cassian, but they could use any of them and it would work just as well. Let's see. This is the door we came in and where we switched off the fence, but you'll notice there's a staircase going up, so there's still some more to see here. I guess this is the power source of the whole little research station or whatever. I really couldn't tell you what they're using for the big yellow stuff. I know I'm pretty sure it's not the back of the toilet because the toilet I think is more square, where this is a round bit, so I assume it's one of the new engine pieces. I know these are like some different generators and some technophage tubes and such, but beyond that I have no clue. Again, the flooring is the Marauder's digital netting because it's got that open hole. A lot of people like to use that for doorways too. Okay, so I think that's most of the downstairs area. So we're going to go up the side here. Now this staircase is just metal-edged wood 2x4s, and it follows the nice curving of the exonite that this structure is built upon. Notice the granite pillars kind of giving idea that it's supporting the little ramp here. Lots of 2x4s there. Here's one method of transportation. They've got a vent hot air balloon type of thing going. They got him netted in. He's all puffed up and ready to go. Lots of hanging chains to secure the bucket, which is basically a feeding trough. Some vent tanks on the side for like the ballasts or whatever. Another tank for the fuel bit, and they've got, I think it's a Falcon brazier for the little fire underneath. Up top, I believe it's a bucket for a little bit here and another netting, and then just hanging wires, a couple of hanging wires. I think it's the droopy version for the little bits. They kind of attach the fire bit to the actual balloon thing that's going on. Some hitching posts and a chua net here as well to walk you across. Oh, is it the cannon? I never really, I don't do a lot of like military looking stuff, so I don't normally mess with those. And I'm not usually one to like go for a lots of effects, so if it's effects, it's usually like this little blinking dot or something. So yeah, the blue cannon. Exile cannon. Well, I'll have to check that out sometime. This again, it's basically I think it's like a two-tower house. There's two different sections, and I like the notion that this has a little doorbell here. Again, I think this is one of the engine pieces. Uh, I don't know what part of it, but it's just kind of fun that that's how it's supposed to represent. Now again, it's exonite, so it's going to be fairly bright. So, keep that in mind if you're using it to construct. I like how they've added in different materials for the walls and trim. It kind of helps tone down the brightness of the ceiling and the floor, because that is, of course, exonite. But they're using the granite versions of the walls, and then Cassian pillars for the trim. So let's just go room to room here. Notice they found fun ways of showing off uh, their poster collection just to decorate the walls. Here we have a little kitchen. Very simplified, but you can still get some fun ideas. I mean, this is a version of a refrigerator. It looks to be the vintage mugs being used for the handles, and then the airtight containers for the fridge part. Here, maybe that's a washer dryer set. Maybe it's just a dishwasher. Maybe it's some kind of storage. But it looks to be the ship hand lockers inset there. And then, of course, you got a nice little view of the little landing pad there. Again, folks really love using the banners, depending on which one you're needing. The Merg banner is a favorite because it's one of the few with the least amount of like stick and stuff that you have to hide. But these, I think these are the Taurine banners. The stick is just hidden inside the pillars, I believe. But folks like those for entrances and little hidey hole kind of secret rooms, because there's no collision on the banners themselves. So you just have to find interesting and fun ways to hide whatever it is you don't want showing. Such as the bird banner is real good, the Skeech banner is a favorite, the wolf banner is also another one, or the wolf flag, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's called the Dagging flag. There's also the sheets that are on the laundry lines. A lot of folks like the sheets just themselves. They hide everything else in the walls, and you just see the sheet, and that's a good way to hide up little rooms. Kind of noticeable most of the time, especially with the wind affecting them so much. But it's a good way of having like a doorway, but not having to deal with the actual functional doors, because sometimes they don't work 100%. Hey, Bill. Thank you for joining. Well, if you like this one, you would love all the others that we have visited. We visit quite a few. Wednesdays is our tour day, so we go and have a lot of fun visiting other places, other people's plots, showing off their creativity. So here we have a little balcony type of thing, a little, I don't know, porch area, whatever you want to call it. They've just got it fenced off with 2x4s and granite pillars. Really simple. It just shows that you don't have to do everything custom to make it look nice. They have the little pod plant bit kind of sunk down so you don't see all of the bits, but just simple, sweet. Here's a little mini bar. It's basically like the stocked bar and the empty bar frame being used in conjunction with each other. Got the little bar tap sticking in there, a little plate full of candles, and you're good to go. Look at the mini caretaker there, little DJ cell. Okay, that's leading off to the other one. Let's finish exploring over here first. So here we have a little office space. Got lots of shelves. Remember, these Dominion shelves, they do not come stocked with anything. So everything that you see on here has been individually placed. Granted, some items like this one here, the Alchemist book stack, that comes as is, and this little stack comes as is. But most of it is individual items that they've chosen to have displayed here. This is, again, a good place if you have like an attic, a cellar, a treasure room, bookshelves with little knickknacks. Those are great places to sneak in those items that don't really fit any particular theme that you have going on, but you still want to show that you have collected them, like these little ship models and things. Here we have a little custom aquarium. Japan defensive cannon. Well, thank you for looking that up, Bucky. I appreciate it. Yeah, Living in WildStar, it's outdated site, but it's still very helpful for a lot of the basic decors, a lot of the beginner decor. I read somebody saying something about he's willing to leave it open for another year. So I guess it's not going to be there forever. So enjoy it while it lasts. But yeah, there's been so many groups and persons that have said, oh, we need to set up a site that, you know, has everything. But I think most of the time when people say it, they don't know, they don't realize just how much work it is to keep something like that updated. I appreciate Eric's efforts in keeping that site going as long as he has. Granted, he hasn't updated it, but just to leave it open for those of us that still use it is much appreciated. But the main thing of it is, I think it's the clunky fire extinguisher, and it's just inset, so you don't see the full bottom of it. But that's how you're getting the bubbles. And then, of course, they've thrown in some plants. When you're doing an aquarium, it's really good to pick plants and things that have a little bit of movement, because that kind of gives the illusion that there's actually water messing around in there. So anything with a little bit of movement, even if it's just a slight bit of movement, is really good. This is the, I think it's the tentacle plant, and they've just turned it upside down to make it look like a jellyfish. There we go. I was trying to say starfish, and I knew that wasn't the right word. It's a very favorite trick of a lot of people that are trying to put together a nice little aquarium scene. And of course, the different plushies for the little animals in there. Here we have the bathroom. Again, using those same little banners to kind of give a little bit of privacy for the person that's showering. Why there's a little Skeech doll in here, I'm not sure, but he's in there. The shower head seems to be just a giant Tua tank positioned just so that you switch it and it just pours onto you. The mirror is just the back side of a window. And of course we have the lovely Flush-O-Matic toilet there. I'm not even going to comment on that. Yeah, see, I think that's what that was. Those little panels down in the Chua house below. I think it was just the top of the display cases. And then here's another little bedroom with another lovely view of the meditation garden downstairs. Notice they put a few things into the closet here, the little dresser. It's not necessary that you do that, but it's kind of nice. It just makes it look a little bit more lived in when you actually add some things into these boxes and things that are open. I've even gone to the extent of putting things down in the drawers inside here as well. But you got like a little plushie, a pillow, and a shirt. It's just enough. Okay, so I think that's all for this building here. So we'll like move along off to the side here. Now notice they're using glass for the walkway, Cassian pillars for the bracket, the edge, and then decking railing for, well, the railing. The windows here, those are just oh, what is it called? The datascape window from the Renowned vendor. And again, it's just a block of exonite for the base, and then they've put a block up top, decided how far they wanted, you know, the ceiling to feel and everything, and then just created this little kind of housing area. Okay, here's another bathroom. Again, they're using the Flush-O-Matic. The sink is basically just two of the bathroom sinks with a orange dresser for the bottom. The shower, again, similar construction as the other. I guess these are like little bath toys or something that they're using the plushies for. A little strange. There's like a little lounge area with your hookah pipe and your pillows and the blanket. And then you've got your little bedroom set here. Again, this shelf here, it's kind of tricky to find because I think when it's not in your crate, it's called the Imperium shelf. And then when it's in the crate, it's called the Dominion shelf. It's that or vice versa. It's one of the two ways, I forget. So usually when people go to look for it on the auction house, they have trouble finding it because they're looking under the wrong name. I don't know why it switches names like that, but it's been that way from the beginning, so I don't see them changing that anytime soon. It's not like it's a game breaker kind of thing. It's just an annoyance. So if you're looking for this shelf, a lot of folks like it for like refrigerated things because it looks like they're encased in ice. Again, they kind of make it look like maybe they're encased in, what is it, mylar or something, for like special collections. We've seen folks use it for like swords and things like that. This one's using it for their plushie collection. But again, it goes by two different names. It's either Imperium shelf or Dominion shelf, I think. So you just kind of have to pay attention to that when you're looking for it. Okay, let's go this way, I guess. That's the bathroom. This is another little bedroom. Again, this would be a good way of like, if you say you have an extended family in WildStar, you know, for role-playing purposes, it would be fun to set up a kind of a building like this and then say, hey, pick a bedroom and then add a few things. Maybe they're meaningful to the person that represents, maybe they won this award for a guild challenge or something, and that's what that's supposed to represent. It would be things that only they would know, recognize, or whatever, but it would be a way to kind of personalize it. And then this is another little balcony outing area. Notice they add a little bit of a garden here. See how it's kind of set up. Got like the bottom lab down here and then the living quarters up above, split into two different sections. And then this way leads off to another little shrine thing. Very bright exonite tree. Notice the railing here is the granite style fencing. and it follows the shape of the, what is it, little hexagons or whatever. Just kind of adds to it. It's a really interesting build, little home. It looks like one of those that they started out with one idea and they just kind of expanded it from there. You know, some of us like to plan like down to a T every little bit of the plot, and that's one way to do it, but a lot of people like to kind of keep it more fluid, so they just kind of let it, I guess the best way is to evolve. It evolves from a single idea and then it just kind of grows from there. Look at these staircases here. Those are all Draken pillars, every single one of them. You got looks like a Draken floor for the little stair step here. I didn't notice that before. That's like a lot of pillars for the staircase. But yeah, I think that is it for this plot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure it gives some fun ideas. I mean, we do have like the regular construction, you know, like using the floors and the walls for the buildings, but this just shows you don't have to stick strictly with those particular building blocks. You can go with just about anything and create a little house out of it. If you find something that's the shape or the color or just has the right markings on it that you want, find a way to use it. I mean, I've seen people use bookshelves, well, even I have actually used bookshelves as buildings. You know, you just make them really huge and then you kind of divvy it up however you want. So find some clever uses for, you know, stuff out of the norm. You don't have to go with just orange walls like I typically do. Can't really see that from here. That's a shame. I guess the best view would probably be from up on the other side of the bridge. But yeah, it's been fun, guys. Just a reminder, we do have maintenance coming in at 4 a.m. PDT, which is 1 p.m. CEST time. So if you're looking to get a little bit of playtime in, now would be the time. You shouldn't be watching this stuff. You should be in there playing. It is only supposed to go down for about an hour, and then it'll be back up, and we'll be getting some patch notes for whatever has changed. But you never know. Maintenance can have its issues sometimes, so just don't be too upset if it doesn't go exactly as planned. Keep in mind as well that the site and forums will also be going under their own separate maintenance, starting at the same time as the other, but it will last for about 5+ hours. It's like 5 hours, 45 minutes, I think is what they stated. But you can follow along in the forum thread for that, for any updates, or you can follow them on the Twitter, like WildStar Ops, that kind of thing, to kind of check and see when those things become available again and when they actually shut down. Again, reminder, today is the start of week 4 for Starfall. So this week's challenge is to complete 2 dungeons. Myself and hopefully a few others will be available Saturday evening at 8 p.m. CEST time, this Saturday, the 25th, for some dungeon groups. If we can't get enough people for dungeons or enough of the right people, you do have to kind of do the Trinity thing where you have the tank, the healer, and a couple of DPS. If we can't get that working, then we'll do expeditions. Those are you can, they're, what do you call it? I'm looking for the word. I know there's a word. They are scalable. That's the word. They scale from, you can do them solo up to 5 people in the group. So if we come up 5, you know, short of a dungeon group, we'll go for the expeditions instead. Because in addition to the Starfall, event and the challenge that that entails for this week. We also have the Double Renown event this weekend going from the 24th to the 27th. And what that means is if you get into groups, whether they be friends, strangers, guildies, whatever, as long as you're in a group doing group content such as dungeons, adventures, expeditions, you will earn double renown for your efforts. So for those of you that are needing to stock up on some renown for some renown cost furniture, this is your opportunity to stock up on that. Usually I do the expeditions solo. It's probably not the best way to do it, the most efficient or whatever, but it's quickest for me because the expeditions tend to only take 10-15 minutes max. So when I have a little bit of spare time in between the other things that I'm doing, that's what I do to kind of keep my renown supply up. But from what I understand, if you get like a full 5-man group and run an expedition like, say, was it Fragment Zero, I think you can earn like, I read somewhere it was like 20,000. I don't know if it's that specifically, if it's more, if it's less, but that's a pretty big chunk. Considering some of the renown items can cost that much or more just for one item. So if you're looking to, stockpile the renown for future purchases of things that you might want to use for your plot, this weekend is your weekend. So take advantage of it. But if you are around on Jabbit-EU Exile side, I will be available for dungeon grouping. And like I said, if we can't get enough people for dungeons, we'll do expeditions, if nothing else. But my goal is to try and help get as many of us to complete the Starfall challenge for this week, which is 2 dungeons. You need to complete 2 dungeons. It doesn't say you have to earn a specific level of trophy, so I assume even if we end up finishing in bronze that it will still count. Don't hold me to that, but I assume as much. It's kind of like the PvP matches for last week's challenge. You didn't actually have to win them. You just had to participate and complete them. So that was nice because I think we only won once out of several times that we attempted it. But yeah, if you're looking to get those completed and you want somebody to kind of go along with, I've extended the invitation not only to you guys, but it's also for my guild and anyone else that they feel would be interested. So it might be a mixed bag of folks that get together, but I'm going to try and coordinate between the 2 groups, at least between the housing group and my guild group, and try and get at least one dungeon group going, even if it doesn't include myself, as long as we can get some folks in there. As I know for some of us it's a little bit more difficult, even when we have guildies. A lot of times our hours are different than the majority of our guildmates, and it's just kind of a trial to try and get everybody together at the same time to tackle things like this. So I'm trying to kind of facilitate us getting that done, because if we manage to complete this, that means if you've completed all of the Starfall challenges, that will earn you not only the minor key for the smaller lockbox, but we should get awarded the major key, the legendary one, for completing all of the weekly challenges. Now, if you have only just gotten into this and haven't completed the other challenges, you will have the rest of the month to work on it. I think the 29th and 30th specifically are designated for last chance to get all of that done. So if you've kind of missed out and you're trying to catch up, you still have a chance to do that, to finish it up, to get that big reward at the end. And if you are having trouble with any of the parts and you want to reach out to me, let me know, and I'll see what if I can help out. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tours today. Again, I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot more focus on Exile side, because I'm just kind of running out of homes to visit on Dominion side that we haven't already taken a look at. or that just aren't ready for viewing yet. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe it is time that I have to step over to NA side. Shh, don't say that out loud. I don't want to make any promises, but it may come to that if we end up getting kind of digging the bottom of the barrel. I don't want to just stop doing the tours. So anyway, hope you guys have fun and hope to see some of you Saturday. And yeah, if I don't see you between now and the weekend, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm pretty sure I'll be here tomorrow and Friday. I don't expect anything to kind of, I say that, and if something does come up, I will for sure tweet and let you guys know otherwise. But we'll probably be back on my alts plot finishing up the modular house that we've been decorating in preparation for next month's CBDC. Which reminds me, if you're working on your CBDC for this month, which is the Custom Built Decor Challenge, this month's theme is food. If you're still working on that, please, please let me know where it is before the 30th. The 30th is set for our CBDC showcase stream. We'll be going from house to house to check out all of the food stuffs that you guys have put together. So be sure and let me know about the location and all the pertinent information on that. It is open to both EU and NA, so it doesn't matter what region you're on. It doesn't matter what faction. I have access to all of those. So if you want to show off something that you've made that is food related, please just get me the information before the 30th so that I can include you in the showcase. In the meantime, good luck with your projects. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining. Appreciate all the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the general support, and the votes. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.